Do you need to keep a more relaxed wrist when you're playing tennis? That's the question that I'm going to be exploring in this video, and hopefully I can give you some interesting perspectives on it. And if you do find them interesting, it'd be much appreciated if you could give me a thumbs up. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it always helps me out if you could do that as well. So I'm going to start by answering this question more generally, and then I'm going to dive into specifics as they might relate to your situation. And generally the answer is maybe. It kind of depends what shot players are hitting. Sometimes high-level players are going to have a relaxed wrist, and other times they won't. So if you think about the forehand, you watch the best players in the world, they're very relaxed, they use their kinetic chain, they get the work done early, and the wrist is very loose through contact. Same thing on one-handed backhand, same thing on the serve. The wrist is going to be nice and relaxed. Whereas for other shots, that isn't going to be the case. On a slice forehand or on a slice backhand, there's going to be a much more active process of using the wrist. And then if you think about something like a volley or a backhand volley, the wrist is going to tend to be much firmer a lot of the time. So for the best players out there, the answer is it really depends on what shot they're hitting. But for you, there might be things that we have to consider, because potentially what the pros do and the situation that the pros have a nice relaxed forehand in might not apply to you. And the reason that it might not apply to you is because in order to maintain a nice relaxed wrist through contact, you need to have amazing timing. When you watch the best players in the world play, like I've just said, they use their kinetic chain efficiently. So they're driving through their legs, using their torso, then the arm, and then the racket is coming through. And that's forehand, two-handed backhand, one-handed backhand, and slice. And they also generally meet the ball way out in front of their body. Now, sometimes that won't happen. Sometimes their opponent will hit an amazing shot and they'll just have to do whatever they need to do. But the majority of the time, the contact point is going to be way out in front of the body. You know, on their forehand, depending on what grip they use, depending whether they've got a bent arm or a straight arm, it might vary a little bit, but it's going to be out in front of the body. Same thing on the one-hander, same thing on the two-hander, same thing on the slice. So if you want to have a relaxed wrist through contact, you need to sequence your kinetic chain well, and you need to have the good contact point. So you need to have really good timing. And if you don't have that timing, you probably won't be able to, or it's, you know, very, very difficult to maintain a relaxed wrist, because realistically, if you're hitting the ball late, you kind of have to brace for impact a little bit. And the vast majority of adult players hit the ball late. And it's also important to understand that you can hit a really good quality of shot with a fairly stiff wrist. You know, you won't become a top 100 player these days, but that's also not realistic for most of us either. You will, amongst your friendship group and in your club and against the people you play against, be able to hit a really good quality ball maintaining a stiff wrist. So you don't have to have a relaxed wrist. The relaxed wrist is kind of a product of all the other stuff working well. So it could be a good thing to think about depending on what level you're at, or you know, if you've got other stuff going on, it might be more important to focus on fixing underlying issues. Because if you are the sort of person that hits the ball late, yeah, long term, having a relaxed wrist might be better for you, it might give you a higher top end, but what you really need to focus on is fixing the underlying reasons why you're making late contact with the ball. Because when you fix that stuff, that's going to give you a greater overall improvement, and once you've fixed that stuff, then you'll be able to have a more relaxed wrist. So what I'm going to do is place a link down in the description to a video that's going to teach you how you can work on trying to improve your timing technically. But what you also might need to do is address underlying problems that are preventing you from having good timing in the first place. Because in order to have good timing, you need to have a great visual system that's capable of reading the flight of the ball and judging distance and depth and speed, so you can start your swing at the right time. And you also need to have really good coordination so that you can sequence your kinetic chain properly and make the adjustments on the different types of balls that you're dealing with. So if you would like to learn how to improve that side of things, I'm holding a free live workshop pretty soon. This is a neuro tennis workshop where I'm going to be teaching you how to use brain-based training to improve hand-to-eye coordination. So I'll also place a link to that down in the description so you can check that out as well. Okay, any questions about what I've talked about in this video, leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. It's always appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you next time.